Up to where I
All right, boys and girls, let's get going. And I think we should do an introduction. And I'll first embarrass Al by welcoming Al, who was recruited by Bill. They both work together at Home Depot.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, we now have two people to get the Home Depot discount from.
All hams get a discount.
Al hasn't been licensed yet, but we're going to get him his license. By
Amen.
hook or by crook, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, start over here at Jordan. Go around the room. Who are you? Call sign if you've got one, and where you're from.
I am Jordan Lease. My call sign is KF8DIJ as of 2 days ago.
Congratulations! Yay!
Hey, Jordan. Tom, WV8WYD.
Keith, KRN.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Jeff Swainston, W8JAF.
Nice, I'm still out.
Hey,
KE8MIR Manton.
Roy, KC8GZG Tustin.
Bill. Right here in Cadillac.
Rich, K8MFC Cadillac.
Ray, K88BAI Cadillac.
Tim, N8GV8 from Cadillac.
Jeff, N8JAP from beautiful Cadillac, Michigan.
Bob, N8BOB from Cherry Grove Township.
Gordon, WACT from Lake City.
Steve, W8SDS Cadillac.
Lee,
My
KD8UVN Cadillac.
Randy, KC8TXS Cadillac.
Van, W8LKV Tustin.
And I'm Lynn, WA8UPB Hoxeyville, and we should probably say we are awfully glad to see you, Jeff.
Yes, sir. Me too, brother.
Some of you probably don't know, but he had a little heart issue and ran up to Traverse City, and now he has to eat carrots and celery and stuff like that. So
They put spare parts in.
we're glad you're here with us. It's amazing you're here. 'Cause that
Amen,
was just
brother.
last
Thank you.
weekend.
I'm
We're all
glad to
happy
be here.
to see you sitting here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Me too.
Now I will try to find the minutes as our secretary, Brandy, reads the minutes of our last meeting.
Minutes of the January 2nd meeting. Meetings called to order at 6:29 p.m. Minutes were read and approved. Financials were read and approved. The New Year's challenge is to try one new aspect of the hobby that you have not done before. Bob also challenges those without a general class to get it. January 4th is Kids Day. Introduce a kid to radio. Noted that the test fee can be reimbursed for those under 18. Traverse City Swap is February 8th this Saturday at the VFW in TC, 3400 Veterans Drive. Thanks to everybody who participated in the Kids Talk to Santa event. Gordy registered the swap, but testing had not been registered yet. Steve and Gordy will be sharing testing duties. We discussed and eventually motioned to purchase a toolkit connectors for the club. And so we'll get those together and can loan them out. And we had our ugly project contest. Dallas won with this portable solar inverter box.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Meeting was adjourned at 7:18 p.m.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Keith. Second.
Second.
Looks like Steve. Steve is second. All in favor of approving the minutes of the January meeting, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. We did it again, Brandy, good job.
They oppose it.
And this would be a good
Secretary.
time since it was referred to in the minutes. Bob, would you stand up and show us what we purchased as a result of our last meeting?
Okay, just a second.
Are you screaming? That one's screaming.
I'm getting my hearing aids in.
Okay.
Huh?
Literally.
Well, he's full of it tonight, isn't he?
Gordy,
Those are fashion.
that's nothing new. Gordy is just that way. This is a very, very nice set. It comes with instructions, and as Jeff told me, it's got pictures.
I look.
I don't know if you can see it or not. Hopefully they won't fall
Move
here.
up toward the front.
There's cutters.
Move up toward the front. Everybody can see
They're all
it.
looking at it.
Yeah, but I want to get you on camera.
I don't want to be on camera.
You're going to be a close up that you won't believe.
New Year's and
We're
everything.
going to look up your nostrils.
Then they can't see it.
You can show off his.
They, very nice cutters.
Yes, sir, they are.
And little trimmers. And it has These red devices are grippers for the coax, so when you're using the tool, you need something to grip it with. This is for RG8 213, the large cable. This is for RG8X. This is,
Blue is end connector, black is PL259.
yeah, this is for end connectors. And this is for RG8, typical large connectors. This is a stripping tool, and this has first cut, this end, then you switch over to the second cut, and twist on, and that's what the holder is for. Has one for 8X also. There's a little something in this bag here, I'm not sure.
Spare blades.
What are they?
Spare blades for the
Oh,
cutters.
spare blades. See, Gordy knows that he's got the kit. But this is available for members on a sign-out basis. Contact me, and I'll arrange for you to be able to take it.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Very good. You okay? You did. And
I'd rather not.
not only is Bob the caretaker of it, he's one of the club's fixers. He could probably show you how to use it if you're nice to it.
Actually, Gordy's the expert.
All of us are experts 50 miles.
He was the one that told me how to do it.
All right. Finance. Is this the one you want up, Gordy?
Lee?
Lee? Losing my mind.
Premonition.
Is this the one you want up first? Okay, and I'll move it.
Okay, just a word of interest is, every year about this time, I renew the federal income tax exemption for the year. So you do that online. It's not a big deal, but you gotta remember to do it. New report. This is really page 2, but it doesn't matter. What this is, I added this onto the end of our spreadsheets, go month by month by month, and they keep tabulating. Well, I added this to the end so that we kind of know where we're at for the year as far as our income. So this gives you a summary. Like dues was $50, income 50/50 was 10, coax, somebody bought some coax, $48, and we paid $660 of rent. For the tower, $23.71 for the phone bill, $829.51. And we had, so anyway, we had expense, income of $108, expense of $1,512. And so for the month, we were down $1,403, or $1,404, but we still got, doesn't show it on that page. Well, they didn't show it up there. But anyway, we have $2,916.54 in the checking. Well, that's what we had. Okay, yeah. Oh, no. Well, go to the next page. Yeah.
This one here? The upside down page?
The upside down.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, our actual bank account is the back.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you. Thanks, Jordan.
It's obvious you just got your ticket. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, our ending balance is $1,512.24, so that's what we have in the checkbook. Actually, we got a little more because we had somebody pay Jeff paid his dues tonight, and we had two more envelopes are in the mailbox. But then this is the detail. So, okay, I was wondering what that miscellaneous is. I forgot. Kelso Media, that's for our webpage. It's a one-time per year, $500.
That's asinine.
And then there's $328.59 for the tools that Bob showed you. Utilities, $23.71.
What's the matter?
The rent is for our two-tier tower.
What fee?
$660. So, then the income's on this side. I don't know how that works, but so we got some dues, we got 50/50, and any questions? You think the new addition at the end of the spreadsheet, you think that's beneficial, or?
Yes, yes it is, thank you.
Any questions? Do we have a motion to approve? Jeff,
Yes, sir, approved.
second? Gordy?
He's already.
He already did.
I think he's going for the record tonight. Any discussion, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Good, thanks for your good work, Lee. All right, let's see what's next on the agenda. It says special reports. I just have a few items, and then we'll open it up for open mic. Traverse City Swap is this Saturday. Somehow word got out that it had been canceled. It has not been canceled. So it's Saturday from, I think from 8 o'clock till noon. I think we got at least a couple going. We might even consider carpooling if it works out. Our own swap is Saturday, May 3rd, 8 to noon. Setup will be Friday at 4. Tear down immediately after. I've got a question. Would you be okay if I can get them to volunteer kids? Last year they did it just because they were there and there was a snafu and they just helped out and it made it so much easier. If we made, say, a donation to whatever club or organization they had to get a bunch of kids to come and help us set up and take down, what do you think? $100?
Oh, yeah. You want a motion?
If we need a motion, move it.
I make a motion that you arrange for help for the swap, set up and tear down with a donation to whoever.
Whoever at the middle school, a club or whatever.
And a couple of pizzas were there for the kids, might be nice too.
I would even spring for that just
Yeah.
to save my back.
Little Caesars around, hell yeah.
Okay. Do we have a second for the motion?
Second.
Bill's got it. All opposed, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It's probably the best $100 we'll spend on people's money. All right.
Democrat?
Couple other things about the,
Well, you can spot them, can't you?
couple other things. Somebody called me a Democrat.
No, Bob said he's good at spending other people's money.
He accused me of being a Democrat. They're good at
What's
this.
so bad about that? Well, we won't get into that.
Want to go into it?
I have a feeling I might be a little outnumbered here. Tom, can you check with, where are you, Tom? Can you check with Michelle about concessions?
Yeah.
We would like them to do it again this year if they could. Bob, can you do talk-in?
What's that?
Talk-in for the swap.
I'm planning on it.
Okay. Lee, did you do road signs?
I did.
Can you do it again this year? Do we have someone that can ride along and help him?
Rich.
Thank you, Rich.
He's the co-pilot,
You just
road
got the
signer.
military
Well, they're good at it.
volunteer.
They do it for the cams thing too.
I need a volunteer to handle table reservations and setup. I have a new template. It's very simple, fits all the tables in. If you want to do that, see me. I will handle publicity. April 18 is World Amateur Radio Day. And talking with some of you, I thought it'd be good to do something locally to get a little attention to amateur radio and to our club. What we came up with was a group POTA activation. You don't have to have any experience in POTA. It will be, if we get permission, at the White Pine Trailhead, which is over by the library, by AmVets, by after 26. It's a little pavilion there. And Leah's going to kind of head things up, making sure we have a sideband station and a FT8 station at least. And have people sign up for 1 hour, half-hour segments and just be there and operate and let people that come by, we'll hand out some things, maybe have a banner.
Use the club call.
Club call, yeah. It's no big deal, but just a way to get a little more exposure. We might get an article in the paper about it. Also, update on the pavilion, And I'm gonna defer to the pavilion master. I can make this work. And let's see, make this a little bigger. Get rid of this. Come on up, Keith. Tell us a little bit. Show us where the radio room is going to be especially. But just kind of walk us through this.
This was the initial preliminary plan that we got from the architect. And basically, what it's showing is that there's 2 open bays. Initially, we had designed 3 bays, but to cut back on cost, we went to 2 bays. And then we had rooms over here. This is a kitchenette area, 2 bathrooms, storage room, and then this would be the radio room. Now, when I applied for this grant, I put down that we needed $2.496 million. The limit was $2.5 million. And they came back and gave us $1 million. And so we said, well, let's see how we're going to make this work. And so they did the preliminary design of this, and then they came back with the price, and the construction of the building was going to come out to be $2.4 million. So then there was some added cost, like to cover the going market wages. We had to add 10%, which was another $240,000, and then
Was that the fluff?
yeah, and then contingency, another 10%, which is $240,000. So by the time you get to the end, it gets to $3 million. Well, we've been looking at how do we had a plan to take it in phases to try to figure out how do we do this with what we got. First was try to reduce cost anywhere we can. Second was let's scale this down a little bit. The third was try to find other funds. And the fourth is let's build it in phases so that when we get more funds, we can just add on, but it's ready to be added on to. You don't have to kind of re-engineer it and try to make something fit to something else. So we immediately, we were going to have the bifold doors on the front and back, so it'd be an open pavilion. Well, we cut the bifold doors off the back, and that was $80,000, so we saved right there. We are now looking at, with what the funds we have, only doing one of the bays for now, so that the second bay could be added on at a later date, and put nothing in here. It'll be there, but there'll be no walls or anything constructed. So we probably have some time to think about what we want to do with the radio room, but that will be hopefully eventually that'll be the room where we'll have radios that can be locked up, and then we can use that room for any sort of purpose. It would be a club thing where maybe we have kids coming in that we're teaching or trying to, or we can take some of the equipment out and we'll put it out on the main floor so that it can be a larger group that can utilize it.
Is that, off to the right, is that a mezzanine?
Right here?
No.
Oh.
Off to the left, yeah.
So up above, there is a mezzanine.
Okay.
But legally, we can't use it for public because we'd have to have an elevator. So we don't have an elevator, but once the thing's built, there'll be a stairway right here going up to it, and we can find ways that we could still utilize it.
Would you be able to use it for storage?
Yeah, we could probably put
storage
storage up there. And
a lock
that type of-
cabinet for the different groups, so that we could put radios there.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's a great way to utilize that space, that's why I asked.
Right. Well, the intent also for this facility is to use the whole thing as an alternate incident command center, and so we could put some key things up above that oversee the whole floor, and on the floor would be the Sheriff's Department, the Red Cross, and everybody else that would be involved with that. So anyway, that's the plan right now. It's kind of still in flux, but Tuesday I'll know more about what we're going to be going forward with in terms of the plan. Then I have to go back to the state and tell them what we said in the application isn't quite exactly what it'll be, and we'll see what the state says. So they could do one. All right, time to get going. Before Gordy gives his presentation, before Gordy starts, I want to give an advertisement for our next meeting. Anybody know what this is besides Jordan, what this refers to? What is it, Jordan? Mesh-tastic.
Mesh-tastic. It is a firmware
I know what
and
the Bluetooth signal is.
system for exchanging messages digitally, wirelessly.
He's going to tell us all about it next meeting, so please show up for that. And I think this, I just want to put up there to remind you, we're all set through June 5. So we need some volunteers to step up to the plate for the rest of the year. Remember, you don't have to be an expert. Find a topic that you're interested in, and quite likely the rest of us will be too. Find a 15-minute YouTube video, come and present it. So if you have an idea, and if you want to volunteer, please see me preferably before July 3rd. And now, see if I can get this to work. Gordy? Try this. Try this. You can use either this or the pad.
It reminds me when we first started giving computers to staff members at the intermediate school district. There were laptops, and we gave them mice, and I had a special education tech, I can't remember what he did, psychology, sociology, something. He called me and he says, the mouse is broken. And he'd start at the top and come to the middle, and start at the top and come to the middle. And he didn't know he had to pick his mouse up to make it go to the bottom. And he literally screwed around with it for 3 days before he put in a work ticket.
He was probably an English teacher.
He was a school psychologist, I think.
Uh-oh, those poor kids.
Anyway, the important part about this is no math. Steve and I talked, and we're both math people. But if we start doing trig up here in front of you guys, we're going to lose you really quick. And Smith charts are trigonometry. So what we're going to talk about is what they're used for, how the average guy can use one and kind of figure out what he's doing without doing all of the math.
Right click on the bottom of the, you know, I think it takes an English teacher to show, it takes an English teacher to show a trigonometry.
No, there we go. I got to go down here to this. Here we go. Okay, who invented the Smith chart? Wasn't this guy?
Will Smith?
Smith chart was invented by Philip H. Smith, thus the Smith chart. And it's a graphical aid, nomogram or nomograph, depending on where you get your nomenclature from. Designed for electrical and electronics engineers specializing in radio frequency engineering to assist in solving problems with transmission lines and matching circuits. And you can also use that for antennas because they are part of the circuit. Okay. Now, how many of you Drake owners had one of these? Drake put them with every radio as a little laminated card. This is a nomograph or nomogram, and it's used to calculate SWR. You got 100 watts forward and 3 watts back. You connect the dots, and you get an SWR 1.6.
That's cool.
Okay, and these were used before we had a lot of the fancy stuff we've got now. So these were a common thing. Almost every amateur had one back in the day.
Oh, look at the bottom, R.L. Drake.
That's what I said, R.L. Drake.
And Gordy had a question on that.
Shoot.
Can you Can you subtract the forward and the reflected to get actually what's going to the antenna, or is there no relationship?
There's no relationship.
Okay.
That becomes logarithmic. So
Okay.
it's not analog. This is a Smith chart. Now I've got Smith charts up here if anybody wants a copy of things when we get done. This is what a Smith chart looks like. I've got parts of this blown up. I got this one in color because it's easier to see. But like that nomograph, let's say that you've got a point in your Smith chart right here. If there wasn't 1.4 there, you could draw a line down and you will get your correct SWR. So everything is referenced across this bottom scale to what's up here. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, there's our center of that strip. Now there is a point in here where everything is equal. And it's on every one of these Smith charts, and it's right in the middle, and that is a perfectly tuned antenna and feed line. Now, there's no such thing. Anybody that does radio work knows that. But if you look at this, one end goes to the radio, the other end goes to your source. And that would be the generator and the load. Your antenna is your load. Your generator would be your radio. So as you go towards your source, your generator, you see it counts down from 1 to 0. And as you go up from this source, then you're getting 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, and there's a 2 to 1 line, a 3 to 1 line, a 4 to 1 line, and so on as you go up in SWR. And this is blowing up that graph on the bottom, and you draw lines down to this. And what it is, SWR, your return loss, your reflective coefficient, and so on can all be calculated off of that Smith chart coming down to here. There are software programs that do this. And how many people have a Rig Expert antenna analyzer? Anybody who's got a Rig Expert can generate a Smith chart. In fact, I got examples of it in here. Okay, now the nuts and bolts. When we talked about that 0 line, this is 0. And if you run your Smith chart, it shows up here, then you've got an inductive load. If it shows up down here, then you've got a capacitive. And so based on this, resistance increases as you go in, decreases as you go out. Inductance increases as you go up, capacitance increases as you go down. So you might have a dot right here, that would be capacitive. And it's past it, so it's going to be, well, let's say this is 2, so maybe it'll be 2.5 for your SWR. Depends on how it graphs. But this is that chart. And that's basically what you're looking at with a Smith chart. Questions? It's convoluted, it can be hard. But the whole thing is, if you divide this into quadrants, you just draw a line down and a line across, you will get...
Appliance operators don't need this, do we?
So,
This.
Gordy, can I ask a quick question on that? So if it's in the capacitance part, so it's below the line, what am I going to do to get that?
Well, if you've got a decreased capacitance, you've got a raised inductance.
Raise inductance, okay, so.
So if your dot is down here somewhere, and you want that dot up here on this resistance line, then you're going to have to move towards the inductive side. Or if you're up here, you've got to move towards the capacitive side.
Well, how do you increase the inductance then?
There's a lot of ways. You can make your coax longer, you can make your antenna longer or shorter.
Okay.
You can put a capacitor at your feed point. There's a jillion ways to do it, but it depends on your antenna design and what you're doing.
Okay.
I mean,
That makes sense.
I'm really oversimplifying this.
That makes sense.
But you want to get to the line.
You want to get to the line if you
Get to that
can.
line, okay.
Okay, so if it's in this quadrant right here, you need to add parallel capacitance to get it up to here. If it's over here, you need to add parallel inductance. And series capacitance and series inductance. So this kind of tells you what you would need to do when you look at your Smith chart graph that you got from your Rig Expert. Questions? Making sense? Kind of, sort of, maybe?
I do have a question.
Shoot.
How do you use this practically with your antennas?
I'm going to show you.
Thank you.
This is a picture of the Smith chart generated by the rig expert. This is a point right here. This dot right here is 3.7, so 3.75, the middle of 75 meters, 80 meters. Okay, and that's where this antenna, I built the antenna for that. So it's pretty close to being on that line. Okay, and if you look at the next screen,
So you got that by running the Smith chart from the rig expert?
from the rig expert,
Okay.
yes. And in that, it tells me my frequency is 3749, the SWR is 1.44, my return loss is 14.92 dB, and this is where the trig comes in. It's capacitive, so it's a minus number. It's a minus J. If it's inductive, it's a plus J. So if you've got something that doesn't generate the Smith chart, but generates the math, you can tell what you got to do. And it also gives you your phase angle if that's important, and that's important if you're phasing multiple antennas. But you can see the SWR, or the impedance, instead of being 50 ohms, is 71.25, but that gives me an SWR of 1.44.
And that all comes out from rig expert?
From rig expert, yes. Questions? You guys that got rig experts have probably seen this and not used it.
Yes.
I've used it, but I didn't know what the minus was. And also, it's on the rig expert, mine doesn't do 2 meter, and my 2 meter antenna is screwed up, so,
You can borrow mine. Mine goes up to 600 minutes.
okay.
Okay, this is that same antenna, and instead of just looking at that one frequency, 3.75, this starts out here at 3,500, and this is the whole 75 meter band up to 4 megs. And so it's all inside the one band here, less than 2 to 1, no matter where I'm at. Okay, and if I wanted to adjust this point right here, it says that the impedance there is 3.7 or 37.6 ohms. Right there would be 50 ohms. And so, because it's low, if I wanted to work with this, I could add inductance. Usually at the base of the antenna, this particular antenna is an inverted L, so I'd probably put inductance at the base of it to raise this up. But because it's all inside this 1-to-1 line, it ain't broke. So I ain't gonna fix it.
Yeah.
Now you could niggle these things into, you know, perfection, but you'd spend months building a 75 meter antenna. And so this is, again, all information from the rig expert. And this can be, given these numbers, this can be plotted to those Smith charts, if you want to do it. Questions? Make sense?
Yeah,
Yep.
especially if you got a rig expert.
That's it. Now we go for questions.
Al, you probably got every bit of this, and it's just,
Absolutely.
you're gonna just go home and, it's not always this complicated, but,
But we,
Interesting to see it explained.
yeah.
Roy's got a question, Gordy.
I'll throw one at you. You mentioned return loss, but you didn't go into it, and I bet most of these guys don't know return loss.
yeah, return loss is, you know, exactly what it sounds like. Something's coming back.
One of these good coax and good coax.
So when you're looking at SWR, you can look at return loss also. It'll give you the same kind of information. You want 14 or better return loss.
As a rule. Yep. Now, those charts I had up there, they're Smith charts plus, these are here, if anybody wants to take copies of them and dig into this a little more on your own. The ARL antenna book is pretty good. The Rothmann's German antenna book is absolutely superb, but most people aren't willing to spend $80 to $90 on an antenna book to learn how to do Smith charts. So, and if you got questions, if you want to work on it more, I'll go in one-on-one and work with the math in one thing or another, but this is all calculator stuff, and just, it can get really complicated really fast. But if you can divide that into quadrants and know, okay, I've got a capacitance in series, inductance in parallel, and so on, you can figure out how to fix your antenna.
While you're at it, and by the way, let's give him a hand for that, that's a great picture. While he's at it, you were here for the ugly project. Show us how you prettied up your ugly project.
Well, when I brought it in before, all I had on it was resistors and a coaxial input. And this is basically, I'm going to call it a solid state dummy load. These are 250 watt, 50 ohm resistors, and I've got 1,000 watts worth in there.
Wow.
I put them in a series parallel, and it gets it back to 50 ohms. Actually, it's like 54.3 or something like that. It's close. This is a temperature sensor. As these heat up, and they will heat up, at 200 degrees, this will kick on, turn the fan on. If you know you're going to be running a lot of power to it, then I put a switch on to turn the fan on full time. And anytime it kicks on, this LED will come on. And I just run it off a wall wire. Because all it's really doing is just running the fan.
Where do you get the heat?
Salvage. I had a heat pump that I bought for my cabin, and the control board went bad. And this is the heat sink that was on that control board. So as I was stripping anything off that wasn't charcoal flavored, I saved some of this stuff, and it turned into a dummy load.
It's the value of a junk box. Okay, listen, we're ready to take out your tickets. And to stick around, have any questions for Gordy, you want to get a chart here. But let's see who's winning the big bucks tonight. Everybody got their tickets out?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Last three digits, excuse me, backtrack, forget that. 797.
Hey, that's mine.
Oh!
All right.
One last question before we adjourn. Probably not many have an idea on this. Who's going to win the Super Bowl Sunday?
As long as it's not Kansas City, I don't care.
Bunch of sports fans.
I'm tired of watching Kansas City.
2-5 or 6-1. Take your pick.
Everybody, I'm pulling for these. All right, meeting adjourned. Stick around if you want.
Thank you.
But my STBR is